In the 1800s, the city of Paris grew more vegetables than 2 million Parisians could eat. Not around the city, inside it. On lots squeezed between buildings, some smaller than a modern living room. They had so much surplus, they shipped it across the channel to London. Those growers proved something we keep forgetting. Food doesn't come from space, it comes from design. And that's exactly why a well-designed balcony can outproduce a suburban backyard. Sounds like an exaggeration until you look at what a backyard actually is. Most of it is lawn, which feeds nobody. Subtract the patio, the shed, the shaded strip along the fence, and the average backyard gardener is really working a patch the size of a dining table, often half in shade, usually visited by every rabbit in the neighborhood. Meanwhile, the balcony has 3 quiet advantages that almost nobody talks about. First, it grows in layers. A garden bed is flat, one surface. A balcony has a floor, a railing, walls, and a ceiling. Pots below, planters on the rail, shelves climbing the wall, baskets hanging above. 3 square meters of floor can carry 4 or 5 levels of growing. You're not gardening an area, you're gardening a volume. Second, it's warm. The building behind you soaks up heat all day and breathes it out all night like a storage radiator. City balconies often run a few degrees warmer than open gardens, and that sits on top of the urban heat island that already makes cities warmer still. The combined lift means planting earlier in spring and picking tomatoes weeks after the backyard has quit for the year. And third, it's peaceful. No deer, no rabbits, no groundhog flattening your lettuce overnight. The war that backyard gardeners fight all season simply doesn't exist 3 floors up. So the potential is real, but here's the honest part. Most balcony gardens still fail. And they fail in the first week before a single seed goes in because of decisions people don't even realize they're making. Let's walk through them in order. Decision 1. Before you buy anything, spend 1 day watching your balcony. This is the step everyone skips, and it decides everything. Pick a sunny day and check the balcony every hour or 2. Where does the sun actually fall and for how long? A south-facing balcony in the northern hemisphere might get 8 hours. A north-facing one might get 2. Same building, completely different gardens. The math is simple, and it comes down to hours of direct light. 6 or more hours, and you can grow the fruiting crops. Tomatoes, peppers, chilies, strawberries, aubergines. 4 to 5 hours, and you're into the crops that fruit, but forgive a bit of shade, like bush beans, chard, and many herbs. 3 to 4 hours, and you're in leaf territory. Lettuce, spinach, kale, rocket, most soft herbs, which honestly is where the money is anyway. 2 hours or deep shade, and you still have options. Mint, parsley, chives, and salad leaves will all manage. The classic beginner failure is buying tomato plants for a balcony that gets 3 hours of light. The plant survives, sulks all summer, and hands you 4 sad tomatoes in September. It was never the gardener's fault. It was a sun map nobody drew. Decision 2. Respect the wait. Nobody talks about this one, and it matters more than any other item here, because getting it wrong isn't a bad harvest, it's a safety problem. Soil is light in the bag and heavy in the pot, and water makes it heavier still. Wet potting mix runs very roughly a kilo per liter once it's soaked. So run the numbers. A ceramic pot holding 40 liters of wet mix is pushing 40 kilos, near 90 pounds, before the plant, and the glazed pot itself can weigh 15 or 20 kilos empty. That's 1 pot. Line a small balcony with a dozen, and you're stacking half a ton against a structure you can't see inside of. The fix is simple. Skip ceramic and terracotta. Use fabric grow bags and plastic containers, which weigh a fraction as much, don't crack and frost, and grow plants just as well. Sometimes better, because fabric bags air prune the roots instead of letting them circle. And place your heaviest pots along the wall side, directly over the load-bearing edge where the balcony is strongest, never out along the open railing. If you rent and you're unsure what the balcony can take, that's a real question for your building manager rather than something to guess at. A full balcony garden is a permanent load, not a one-afternoon one. Decision 3. Fewer, bigger containers, always. Beginners buy 10 small pots because they look manageable and they're cheap. Small pots are a trap. A little 1-liter pot holds so little soil that it dries out in hours on a hot day, swinging between soaked and bone dry. And that constant stress is what quietly kills more balcony plants than any pest ever will. Here's a rough guide worth taping to the wall. Herbs and salad leaves want at least 5 liters each. A pepper or bush tomato wants 10 to 15. A full-size tomato, a courgette, or a dwarf fruit tree wants 20 liters and up. When in doubt, size up, never down. One big container holds moisture like a reservoir, keeps the roots cool, and forgives you for missing a watering. 5 plants sharing one large planter will outgrow the same 5 plants in separate small pots and cut your daily work in half. If you remember one buying rule from this whole video, make it this one: go bigger than feels reasonable. Decision 4. Plan for wind. Balconies live in a rougher climate than gardens. A few floors up, wind is stronger, gustier, and it strips moisture out of leaves and pots at a speed ground gardeners never see. It also snaps tall plants clean at the stem. So work with it. Put taller plants against the wall, shorter ones toward the rail. Let a trellis of climbing beans or a row of sturdy railing planters act as a windbreak for the tender things tucked behind them. And on an exposed balcony, choose bushy, compact varieties over tall, lanky ones on purpose. This is where specific varieties earn their place, because breeders have already solved it for you. For tomatoes, look for compact bush types like Tumbling Tom, which spills out of a hanging basket, or the tidy little Micro Tom. For peppers, dwarf plants like Redskin were bred for pots. For cucumbers, a patio type is far happier in a container than a rampant field variety. The catalogs flag all of these. Look for the words dwarf, patio, bush, tumbling, and balcony on the packet. Those varieties exist precisely because of people like you. And the last decision: grow by value, not by habit. A backyard can afford to waste 4 months in a big patch of soil growing 1 cabbage. A balcony can't and shouldn't want to. The plants that earn their space in containers are the ones you harvest again and again, and the ones that cost real money at the store. So think in tiers: herbs first, basil, mint, rosemary, coriander, chives. A plastic packet of cut herbs is a few dollars and slimy within days, while the same few dollars of plant potted up feeds you all season for essentially free. Then cut and come again salad leaves, loose leaf lettuce, rocket, mizuna, which regrow within days of every harvest instead of being pulled once as a whole head. Then the long croppers, cherry tomatoes, and chilies, producing for months off a single plant rather than a single flush. What doesn't earn its place is anything cheap, bulky, and one-shot. Main crop potatoes, a single cabbage, a field pumpkin taking up the whole floor for 1 fruit. Those are backyard crops. Leave them there. That dining table-sized patch in the backyard grows 1 round of vegetables. A balcony designed this way produces something every single week from spring right through to the first frost. The Paris growers had a saying about their craft: the soil is never tired if the gardener is thinking. They fed a city of 2 million from alleyway plots because every square meter had a job, every wall was used, and nothing was left to habit. Your balcony is smaller than their plots, but you have their entire playbook and far better containers than they ever did. So here's what I want to know. What are you growing on your balcony or windowsill right now? And what's the one crop that surprised you by how well it did in a pot? Tell me in the comments. And if you could hand this video to yourself the year you started, what's the one mistake you'd warn yourself about first? Write it below. The best answers are going into a future episode with credit.